Good afternoon and welcome to the National Museum of African American Music. We're so glad to have you here for today's special event, Ben Country, Black Roots and Rhythm. We're honoring the legacy and deep contributions of Black artists to the world of country music, and what better way to begin than with music itself. To open us up with a beautiful tribute performance, please welcome two extraordinary artists who will honor the War and Treaty with musical tribute. Performing a cover of one of War and Treaty's songs, please give a warm welcome to Tay Lewis and Nikki Morgan.
One, two, three, and.
So take me down the road that's a little bit windy, to a place they still put sugar in their iced tea, where the women are fine and the love is fair. Hey driver, you can drop me off anywhere. Hey driver, pull on over. I'm in a fight with God, 'cause it's Carolina shoulder seems the place I'm getting off. Daddy always told me, never make a home on the road while your lady's sneaking out and your kids are growing old. Hey driver, I've been riding this lonely way too long. All this love I have worth giving was put in all my songs. Hey driver, the boys are gambling with more than just their cards, with the bottles and their drugs, and the Bible and their hearts. Oh, so take me down the road just a little bit windy, to a place they still put sugar in their iced tea, where the women are fine and the love is fair. Hey driver, you can drop me off anywhere. Hey driver, you can drop me off anywhere. Hey driver, I've been feeling like there's no point at all. This Klonopin ain't kicked in and I miss my sister's call. Hey driver, I've been tired of the ways of this old world. Let's drive until the tides melt. We'll get back when they're here. So take me down the road just a little bit windy, to a place they still put sugar in their iced tea, where the women are fine and the love is fair. Hey driver, you can drop me off anywhere. 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 Oh, hey driver, you can drop me off anywhere. Oh, 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 oh. So take me down the road just a little bit windy, to a place they still put sugar in their iced tea, where the women are fine and the love is fair. Hey driver, you can drop me off anywhere. Hey driver, you can drop me off anywhere. Hey driver, you can drop me off anywhere.
He encouraged your former captain. He encouraged you to explore that piano, and tragically, he was killed shortly after. You wrote your first song in his honor. That's a profound beginning. How did writing for fallen soldiers prepare you to write for country music?
Man, that's thank you for that question. I think experiences, period, prepare you for writing music. You know, um, in country music, uh, we put an emphasis back in the day on blues, pretty much. You know, the story and I mean, from Hank Williams, "You're Cheating Hard," and um, all the way to "Kiss an Angel, Good Morning," and then when you look before that, you think of all the great blues musicians that have frequented this earth. Um, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, you know, Miss Etta James, just some of the greats, and you listen to their stories, and it's filled with highs and lows. For me, um, that was my military experience. It was filled with highs, but definitely the lows were low. And when I was told about the piano, I could not play, so I had to teach myself. And it was taking my mind away from what we were doing out there with the war and that kind of thing. And but when he got killed, um, first off, none of us expected that it would be him, you know, because he was just so squared away. He was just a stellar soldier. In fact, everyone suspected that the first person to be killed in our unit, which was 1/6 Infantry, 2nd Brigade, 1st Armored Division. Sorry, I had to get that out. Everybody was like, yeah, the one that's going to get killed is Trotter, Michael Trotter Jr. He's going to be the one. He's going to get killed. He's going to get some. In fact, they called me the fat black Gomer Powell. Yeah. So that's how important I was to the unit. It's this story. But when he got killed, it really deeply affected me. And I wrote a song, and I asked my commanders if I could do it for the funeral we would make out there in Iraq. And if you've ever been to a military funeral, you know what I'm about to say. So military funerals are very different. Imagine, though, a military funeral in the war. It's even worse. So it's like they roll call, you know, and they'll be like, Specialist Ayapa. And Ayapa, you'll be like, here. You know, they'll say Sergeant Mia. She'll be like, here. They'll call different people's names, and then they'll call the name of the deceased, and of course, no one's going to answer. It's just ringing out in the wind. And I wrote my first song there and did it in that moment, right before the taps. And because of the way I wrote it and because of the way I performed it, and they saw what it did for our troops were very shocked. Number one, they were shocked that I actually did something right. They were like, what the hell just happened? Trotter's actually doing something right. And not getting yelled at for a change. But then they were shocked that they were so emotionally connected to the song about Rob. And my colonel at the time, Peter L. Jones, shout out to you, Peter. Peter asked me if I wrote that song. I said, yeah, I wrote it. He said, how long did it take? I said, about 5 minutes. And he said, okay, so that's your new job. You're now going to go around to the fallen memorials. You're going to learn about the fallen, then you're going to turn around and write the song and have to perform it that afternoon. And I would do that for the remainder of my stay in Iraq.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's a sensitive story and subject. Tonya, your path was a little bit different, right? You just kind of knew that you woke up like this, huh?
Oh, no, I didn't. I actually, I wish I woke up like this.
She actually did wake up like this.
I did not. I slept in last night's makeup, no. but it was very different. I'll start at what actually got me into music, which was watching my brother perform in front of our congregation at an all-black Baptist church in Washington, D.C. that sits up on a hill, 50th and B Street, Southeast. Hey! And I remember going home after that particular service, and I said to my brother and I said to my mom, I was like, whatever he just did to make those people cry and feel the way that they felt and feel the joy
from that moment of how they felt when they were walking out of the church service. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so we had a big oak tree in the backyard, and I would go up, climb up the tree. I was a tomboy. They used to call me Tommy. So if you see me, you can call me Tommy. It's not Tonya. That's my nickname. And I would climb up.
Better be Tonya.
It's Tonya now, but when I was a little girl, it was Tommy because I was a tomboy. That's right. So I would climb up in the tree, and I would write songs. I was about 8 years old by this time, so I would write songs, and my parents just happened to be going through a divorce. So I was writing, not really knowing what I was doing, but I realized as time went on that I was healing myself, sitting up in that tree. And I would come down, and my teachers at school and at my church and different places, they noticed that something was happening with me. And so I just started diving into talent shows and musical events and musical theater and things like that within the DC area. And I ended up doing a show called Big Break. Mm-hmm. And Big Break was like the Star Search, but Natalie Cole was the host. Yep. And I went on to Big Break. I had a manager at the time who was managing like Johnny Gill, because where I'm from was like a plethora of artists in that area. Stacey Latta saw Johnny Gill, and I was the baby out of all of them, just watching them become big stars. And I'm like, wow, they're doing it. I want to go to LA. So I went out to LA and auditioned for this show, and I ended up not getting the show, but a young man by the name of Leotis Clyburn, he saw me on television and called my school, which was Potomac High School at the time, and he said, who is this young person that was performing? And so they gave the information to my mom and my dad at the time, and that was the first time that I got a record deal. And from the record deal, I went on to do a movie that I didn't even know was going to be anything, which was Sister Act 2. So I auditioned for that. Couldn't act a lick. I was an actress in my bedroom, in my mother's clothes. But and I did that. And
you're a great actress, baby.
He did. This man. I'm gonna keep it clean. But and so I went on to do that and had a record to come out. And that was the beginning of my love affair with this music industry.
Yeah, I love it. And that's what I meant by you woke up like this. You've been doing this thing since you were in Knickerbockers.
Oh, yeah.
Long time ago, long time coming, right?
Yes.
And you kind of just made a great segue into the love of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
I want to know a little bit about the Love Festival.
Oh, how we met?
That's right.
Well, we met at a love festival in Laurel, Maryland, and Michael was one of the artists that was performing for the festival. And when I first met him, I absolutely fell in love with him. I mean, he got up, if you all could have seen him, it was like 95 degrees, probably hotter than it is today, and he was out there killing it with this guitar player. But the passion is what drew me, because by this time, even though I'd been doing music, I kind of lost the passion for it. The spark. I think we all need to continuously have that spark. And Michael was out there just, sparking.
Fireworks.
There was probably 30 people out there, and he was sweating and giving it. I'm like, man, this guy's like, he must see something we don't see. 4,000 people, and he killed it. And so afterwards, we exchanged numbers, and that's how we met at the Love Festival.
Wow.
Which was an event where I was giving away backpacks.
You said where or when?
When?
Mm-hmm.
When? This was August 28th, 2010 at 4:34 p.m.
You heard it first.
He knows. And today's our anniversary. Woo!
Oh, congratulations. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. And so, I mean, speaking of love and Love Fest, and I want to talk about a different type of love, right? A different kind of love. Your love for a genre, as we're celebrating, especially country music, your love for a genre that maybe hasn't always loved you back.
Just an interesting statement, because I have loved country music since I was a little boy, but I was tricked into loving country music. I grew up in a very strict Christian home, and my mom, she put this radio in my room because music would help me go to sleep. but she rigged the radio so it would only play AM stations, and the radio would only go to Moody Bible Institute. Yeah. So during the daytime, I was in school, of course, but in the daytime they play all the little Bible preaching from the boring dudes like God said, "Let there be earth, water, and rain," and so they do that all day, and I'm like, okay. And then when I get home, they start playing more of the famous preachers like the Billy dude, Billy Cracker Graham. Graham Cracker. I was trying to get there.
Hungry.
I was working y'all
Billy
to help
Graham
me understand what it was. But Billy Graham, he got me into Jesus a lot, and he scared me a little bit to my hell and stuff. But still. And at nighttime though, music come on. But it wasn't any kind of music. It was programming from like the 50s. And it was country. But you know what? It wasn't just country. It was just classic oldies. So they play Nat King Cole. They play Ray Charles, Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, Patsy Cline. But it was the actual programming. So they were like, and now this brand new song from Johnny Cash called Ring of Fire. And they're like, and I was like, so I go to school and, all the kids, they be talking about the new Big, like, y'all heard Hypnotized by Biggie, man? Sometimes, bro, just hypnotize. They're like, yeah, no, I'm in the Tupac. And they talking about Aaliyah and everybody. And I'm like, well, they're like, yeah, what's up, Trot? I'm like, man, y'all ain't hear that new Johnny Cash, did you, though? They're like, Johnny who? I was like, Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire. Y'all ever heard that new Crazy by Patsy Cline? It's brand new. You got to look her up. And finally, my teacher was like, son, we need to talk because you're telling these young people that these are new artists. I know for a fact one of those artists is dead. So it went home and made me really not trust my mom. And I said, Mom, you lied to me. You rigged my radio to make me believe that this was, but that is how I got tricked into liking country music. I couldn't get out. It was the rhythm. It was the stories. Like, I mean, think about it. You're a little boy and you hear, I hear the train a-coming. It's coming round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. And, and then he starts talking about shooting a man in Reno. And you like, oh, shoot, man. I know a man named Reno I want to shoot. But that's how I got into country music. But you said something real important, a genre that hasn't always loved me. And I understand what you mean, but I got to keep it 100. That has not been my journey here in Nashville, in Texas, in Austin, whatever. Country music looked for me. Country music, the genre found me. It started for me with a young lady, me and Tonya, with a young lady named Lindsay Hayes, sending our video, our Americana video. So our true genre is Americana. And she sent this video to a guy named Peter Cooper from the Country Music Hall of Fame. Anybody in here know Peter? Ever heard of him? You do? God rest his soul. So Peter saw the video and he lost it, and it just so happened he was in charge of booking talent to tribute the Hall of Fame inductees for 2018. And this inductee just happened to be a famous country artist named Dottie West. And they wanted Tonya and I to be on the program to sing Dottie West's famous song called Lessons in Leaving. I want y'all to understand how this felt. We go into this building. We are unknown. Nobody know who the hell we are. They're like, the war and what? Like, who's fighting? Like, they don't understand why we're there. And on the ticket, here are the performers. Chris Stapleton, Garth Brooks, Dierks Bentley, Ricky Skaggs, who's also being inducted this same year, and then Little Warren Treaty. So I'm like, okay. But from that moment on, when we sang that song Our Way, the rest was history. We did a lot of work. People kept wanting us to show up, and we would show up, and we would make sure we were there, and we would do what we were there to do, and we weren't there to conform and to change. Like, I wasn't going to be putting out music going, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. My music was, come with me down to the river. I got a different fire. And then I started to unload my love for music. My love, whether it's country, whether it's blues, whether it's gospel, whether it's jazz, rock and roll, and rap, metal, it don't matter what it is, I'm in, right? But the biggest thing is representation. And what Nashville was providing for me and Tonya was a moment to say, you're here, now tell us why. What's your why? And my why was, why not? I'm looking at it and I'm like, listen, it's more stories than just blue eyes, blonde hair. Charlie Pride had neither, yet people loved his music. They loved him. Darius got a bald head. He ain't got no hair at all, except the little thing he's trying to hold on to on his face. But, and he sang Wagon Wheel, and people loved him because they weren't trying to be something they just weren't. For me, I love my wife. I love singing with my wife. I love the songs we sing. I love the fact that when we walk into a room, people can look at us from the top of our heads to the soles of our feet and go, yeah. And we don't have to abase or degrade ourselves to fit any kind of narrative at all. So if anyone in the room is confused as to what you think we're about, you don't have to be. I can tell you right now, we're about us. The human race, all people. That's the advantage we have. Last Mark. See, when I was a baby, my first encounter with a grandparent was my great-grandfather. His name was Odell Moore. Odell Moore, there's not a person in this room that's whiter than Odell. He was a white man. I didn't know it at the time. I was 3 years old. I just knew that he was the donut man. I go to his house and we sit on his sun porch and he feed me donuts. I now know he was trying to get me fat, but when I went to school, I learned that we're supposed to be beefing. I learned that. So when I went home and looked at him, I looked at him like, I just learned about you. And it made him sad. Then he told me his story. He told me how he had to escape from Mobile, Alabama, with my great-grandmother, who was darker than this table, because their love wasn't wanted. And I realized, man, listen, there's so many of us in this world escaping because our love isn't wanted. We don't gotta be white, black, Asian, whatever. We're just not wanted. But what we're doing now, what you're seeing now, is people like that are linking up and going, you know what? I want you. You want me. We're going to walk this thing out together. And that's what our music is about. So, God bless this genre for seeking us out, but we're so much bigger than this genre. We're not just this genre. We're not just music. We're humanity.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen. You're right about it. And to your point, the genre in itself, in its larger scale, has truly embraced the war and treaty, right? This group has been nominated, the first African-American group, black duo, to be nominated for both the CMA Duo of the Year and ACM Duo of the Year. Yeah. Right? We need that win, right?
And Nashville, period, has been a blessing. Yeah. Nashville has,
your home base is Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Me too.
hear the stories of what other artists who look like us go through, and I empathize. And no one should have to go through those things, but I have to when it comes to me. I mean, I'm looking around this room, and you know, our managing partner over there is Virginia Prater, and Virginia, you know, she loves us sometimes, but she's she's a little sketchy, but we like her too. But Virginia has been our partner. I'm looking around the room, and Ayapa, we were on our first record deal was with Rounder Records, and Ayapa's with Concord, and Ayapa worked us. And it doesn't matter what we're doing, he's always there. I can text him, call him, even right now, he is always there. Peter Cooper, I told you guys about him. Peter passed away, but I have every voicemail he's ever sent me saved on my phone. I was at his bedside when he was leaving this earth, and I sang to him, and his brain activity started coming back. Peter would just call me and see if I want to go to a baseball game. That's what Nashville has done for me. Buddy Miller, and I have to say this to those that are on the streams out there. If it wasn't for Buddy Miller, Buddy Miller, Virginia Prater, these people came in my life when I was literally fighting with depression and getting ready to commit suicide. I was having a hard time. Military. I had PTSD from my injuries in the war. And I just did not feel like a dude. I didn't feel like a provider. I didn't feel like a father. I remember in one day I got a pink slip, white slip, and yellow slip all in the same day. I just thought, that's it. Life is done. They rocking out there. What the hell?
Yeah, they are. Man.
But
Sound check.
Oh, sound check.
they saved me, and that's what Nashville has been able to provide. I mean, there's so many others that I can name along the way that has done amazing things for our genre and for me and Tonya. Even the first writing session we had in Nashville, or the first meet we had, was a dude named Jimmy Allen.
Yeah.
When he was on top of his game, Jimmy was at the top, and Jimmy was like, I'm hearing, but I want to know you. Took us out to dinner, brought us up. We went over to the restaurant. He didn't pay for the dinner, but he did invite us to come. You know, so there you go, Tanya. I'm done.
So thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Tanya, there is a statistic that's out there. And this statistic, oh shoot, my ex is like, I'm not ready for math class. The statistic is that only 0.03% of country radio plays are of black women. You've taken on breaking that, right? And so I'm curious about if there are any radio programmers here or those that would be listening. What might you say to a radio programmer today?
I think it's very simple. You know, when you are growing up, when you are raised in this country, my mother was from Panama. So she met my dad when she was in the military, and they moved over to the United States. So I've always known that I always had to work 15 times harder, not just because I was black, but because also my mother was from another country. Yeah. And what she brought over here was, you're supposed to have education. They had it much harder than we have it here. So work ethic has always been something that's been inside of me. And I never looked at the world the way that a lot of people have to look at it. You know, so much so, my best friend I hadn't seen in about 25 years growing up, he and his sister. He's a white guy when I was growing up. And he came to our show in D.C. with tears in his eyes, and he said, all this stuff that's going on in the world right now, he was like, what are we going to do? And he's married to a black woman. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and I said, the same thing we did. We grew up interracial. We grew up in a community where we saw each other and we listened to each other, and it starts there. First, the program directors have to listen to us. Then they have to see us, because being seen is not always being seen. You know, you could be in here, but do
Say
you
that
see
one more
me?
time? Yeah.
You know, you can be in here looking at me, but you don't see me. You get what I mean? There's a difference. Yeah, I know you always see me, honey.
That's good.
I think that's it. You know, you see us in this space. You know, you see our creativity, but you have to see me. And that's a difference. And I think that's what the War and Treaty and what Michael and I have done. We just came in there. I'm loud. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to have those moments where I'm not going to be pretty in a cowboy hat running across the stage. I might not even have on cowboy boots. I may have on jeans and some tennis shoes. I will. But I don't think that defines. Yeah, Michael, he'll have on his tennis shoes and his boots sometimes. I don't think that the outer is what defines what makes you a country artist. Just because I throw on a hat and some boots, that doesn't make me country. You have to see me. And what I grew up learning, my father was from New Bern, North Carolina. So growing up, I didn't really know what country was. The first time I heard the word country, my dad would always say, "We're going down to the country." Yeah. And I was like, okay, so that was my whole life. We're going to the country. And when I got there as a kid, country was, my grandmother had a gigantic hog pen. As soon as you stepped out of her house, that was it. I had a pet pig. Yeah, we had trees all around and they lived on a plantation, which my grandfather bought. You know, my grandparents bought a plantation. So country to me was, oh, it's a lifestyle. They got on, you know, suspenders, and there's a hog pen, and there's fruit trees all around. But no, it really wasn't. It was family. That was summer camp for me and my 41st cousins. We were working like slaves down there. Right. I was like, granddad. I was working in heels. My granddad would let me come in my little heels, my little makeup on, because I'm a city girl, so I would show up on the country like done up. I'm like, you all go and put them straw hats on, honey. I'm going to put my nails on, and granddad let me do what I want to do. But I think that's what it is. For me, it's family, and if the program directors are looking at it, they have to see us. I'm just going to go and say that. And my definition of what country means for me is family. That's the first time I heard we're going to the country. It was, I'm going to see my family. I'm going to see my cousins. I'm going to work. I'm going to build something. I'm going to leave a legacy for somebody, my family. So that's what it means for me.
And they gotta be bold. Yeah. You can't be afraid to play difference.
Yeah. Be different.
Play something new.
Wear your afro.
Jesus
Wear your red
Christ.
lipstick.
Yeah.
Wear your, do you. You know, I think that's what defines us. Wear your braids. You know, be you.
Yeah,
that's what makes us. Wear your bald head. You know,
she's not talking about you. I know.
I think that's what's
Darius.
bold. You know, that's what makes us different. You know, we are different. My girlfriends that are blonde with long hair and blue eyes, they're different. That's what makes them special in country music. What makes us special is that we can rock braids all the way down to our kneecaps and be bald head the next day. Wear your wigs, girl. You know,
and I'm gonna rock my stomach.
That's right, baby.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing.
That's right.
There's a dude out there taking off his shirt with a belly bigger than mine.
Yeah, you know.
I'm coming for it tomorrow. Be there at River Stage, shirtless.
There we go.
Right here.
And lastly, someone gave me a statistic yesterday that I never paid attention to. She said there's 36 million black people that love country music. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of folks.
And your tribe might not be in Nashville. Your tribe might be in the backwoods of Alabama, ready to download your music. Find your people.
I think we have to understand it's okay to like country music.
That's right.
And like any form of it, whatever you want to like, it's your prerogative. Like it. Like what you like.
Well, you know, to that point, I mean, there is a big elephant in the country music space right now with Beyonce and Cowboy Carter.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this ain't Texas.
Well, it is not. But you just came from Texas.
Yeah,
I did. I loved it out there, man.
I'm curious about, you know, you guys have been kicking these doors down for years, right? And how do you feel? Do you feel vindicated do you feel frustrated, or do you feel just entirely different generally.
Here comes trouble.
Now you warmed up to that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Queen Bee, Cowboy Carter. I think, okay, you know what? I think Nashville in particular, particularly Nashville, rather. The whiskey's starting to talk a little bit. So
Talk to me.
be with me a little. I think we aren't listening. We aren't listening to what she said. 2016, and I don't know if y'all remember, Beyonce got very excited about doing country music. 2016. And she put out a song called Daddy's Little Girls, and she was so excited because she was such a big fan of the genre, and she's been following it for years. I mean, being from Houston and going to rodeos and listening to different artists. And one of her favorite artists was Dixie Chicks. Now, Beyonce didn't do her proper research at the time because she would have known that Dixie Chicks was in a fight of their own. They were coming out and going, ta-da, we're not what you think. We are so much bigger than that, and this is our sexual preference. And country music went, what? And turned on them. Mm. So now Beyonce is like, I want to do the CMAs, and I want y'all to do it with me. And they're like, you sure? Yeah. But somebody showed me a video at the CMAs. This isn't my CMAs. This is a CMA from 2016, and there are people in the crowd. And if you go back, I ask all of you to go back and just pull up Beyonce's CMA performance and look into her eyes. And I'm going to tell you what you're going to see. More than anything, you're going to see fear. You're going to see fear. You're going to see her fighting back tears. It's not because she feels so connected to the song. Because the video I saw, you can hear a section calling her the same thing that we've heard. Shut the loudmouth nigger up. This is one of our brightest dreamers, one of our greatest performers, rivaling one of the greatest performers of all time, Mr. Michael Jackson. She's often compared as the female version. We've watched her go through phases of love and hate, right? We loved her in Destiny's Child until she started getting too many solos, and then we turned on her, and then we loved her in Destiny's Child until colorism came into play, and she's too light-skinned. Why they won't let Kelly do it? And there's always been something to raise in terms of Beyonce Giselle Knowles. And now there's videos circulating of fans of country music watching her perform, booing and calling her a nigger. And she runs away from the genre. Fast forward. Now country music is, what Lainey say? Cool again. It's cool again. Everybody's now looking at country. There's a lot going on. Brother Morgan, he done slipped up and said a word, and his sales went up 3,000%. And now country music is like, we're back. And it's a thing. And so Beyonce is watching this, and Beyonce is like, well, now it's time. Because I'm bolder now. Now I'm not alone. I see Mickey Guyton. I see Darius Rucker. I see Jimmy Allen. I see Chapel Hart. I see Brittany Spencer. I see the Warren Treaty. I see all the, not Shabuzi, because Shabuzi wasn't on the scene. I see Willie Jones, Raina, Breland, Blanco Brown, Nelly, who resurrected country music. He did for it in the 2000s what Ray Charles did for it in the 60s. She's like, now I can come out there because I'm not alone. And she appears. And this is a different Beyonce now. This ain't the little girl. This is a different one now. This one is like, you think you're global country music, while your artists are having their album release parties in Nashville and in Austin. Mine's is in Japan. You want to be global, you got to go through me. I'm going to show you how to be global. And now all of a sudden, everything in country music has risen thousands of percentages. And no one understands that it's because of the Cowboy Carter effect. You see black people showing up in cowboy boots and cowboy hats, and it's not because they think that's what makes them country. It's because that's what they've always worn. Nobody saw them. Compton Cowboys, Philadelphia Cowboys, they got daggone horses in the ghetto and in the hood coming out of project buildings. My father, he used to love watching Bonanza and Gunsmoke and Have Gun Will Travel. My dad used to embarrass me wearing his spurs and his chaps with the butt out. I'm like, go back in the house, we live in the hood. You know, don't get me beat up tomorrow. Beyonce has given the entire country music genre a gift in herself. I thank God for her. At the same time, I thank God for Lainey Wilson. I thank God for Shabuzi. I thank God for Chapel Hart. I thank God for people like Mia in the CMA organization. I thank God for all of you who understand that it ain't got nothing to do with skin tone, but it has everything to do with the tone of the heart. Whatever you believe, whatever you feel, as a man thinketh, that shall he what? Be. So I'm rocking with her. I used to not be on board because of the work. There is a work. You know, people say this, you know, she should have came to Nashville and did some work. Yeah, I agree. She should have wrote with those 4 girls on Blackbird. She should have wrote their own. They should have wrote their own song instead of giving Paul McCartney all that money. That's the work. She should have came here and wrote with them. She should have let them open up for her tour. Boy, can you imagine that? Can you imagine what that would have done? There's some work to do, Darius. There's some work to do still. When you are in this space and you have a responsibility, it's not enough to just mention their names. Get in a video, sit down, express your story. We've got to get back to touching each other again, holding each other's hands and walking each other through the doors. That's what we used to do as humanity, as a culture. We didn't let each other just, hey, you got to figure it out. That's a 90s thing. I got mine, you got to get yours. But in the 60s and in the 50s, you saw Rat Packs joining together and helping Sammy Davis Jr. You saw Nat King Cole and Sammy rolling together. You saw Quincy Jones and Ray Charles. You saw all the blues musicians paying each other's bills because they couldn't do it on their own. This is what I'm after. This is what I feel about the Nashville that is being created. So that's all I got to say about that. And yes, it was a soapbox. Boop.
Well,
He got that out.
Is this what this every day? This is?
All day long. And I have a little one back there. He's 13. He's in the making.
In the making.
Yeah.
This is my last question.
Okay.
And speaking of your little one, you have a 13-year-old son, your youngest of 4, correct? And he's watching you all navigate this space, right? This is a museum where you are being featured in just a moment, and with crazy.
It's crazy.
Absolutely
Right?
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Tonya, what are you saying to your baby right now?
What is he saying to us? Is really what it is. You know, he's looking and he's saying, you guys are making history, Mom. What are you going to do with it? It's like Michael said, there's a work to be done, and you don't know you're making history when you're making it, but I think it's important for you to know that you're making a mark. And I think for me, I've finally gotten to the mindset this year is that, you know what, work is being done, we're making a mark. When we leave from this earth, what will we be able to leave for the next generation? Because you have to think about it. Most people are like, I'm just doing this for me. I don't care what's behind me, but you have to. Our son knows right back there, he's like, I can't wait for y'all to move because this is my house. You know, he's already planning. And it's also important for us to teach him what to do with this legacy. So immediately I went and got a storage space, and all the clothes you've ever seen us wear, they're lined up. I had our managers, day-to-day manager's mom come and just archive all of it. Yeah. Because you have to know that while it's happening, it's happening. And if we died tomorrow, where would our kids find our memorabilia? Will they be able to just walk into a storage unit and say, she wore that at the CMAs 2017 at this time? It's important to know that while you're in it and while you're doing it, it's being documented. Every moment of it. Yeah. And of here. Every moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael and Tonya, the War and Treaty.
Oh, thank you.
This conversation has been amazing. I don't know if you are like me, where I know I'm on stage in front of a number of people and we're live streaming, and so I had to hold it back a little bit a couple of times here. But I love you. I love what y'all got going on over here too. Just in a moment
We've
here.
been on a tour bus 30 days, so.
Okay.
She can't keep her hands off.
I know, yeah.
I love it.
Can I say one last thing? Just one little thing.
Please wrap us up.
One last thing I want to leave you with is this. When you are feeling sad and you are feeling like there's no hope or unaccomplished, or you just want to know if everything's going to be okay, remember this. Elon Musk and Trump are fighting. And everything is going to be okay. Remember that. All right. That's it.
Great diversion.
They're fighting. We saw it coming.
Oh. All right, so now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will, with me, we are going to transition to our main concourse, where we will unveil the artifacts that Michael and Tonya have provided for the National Museum of African American Music. There will be another tribute song by... Sir? Okay. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, one day, Tonya and I decided to become a duo, like 4 years into our marriage. And we were coming up with names. And so by the time we got to the 8th name, change, Tonya was getting upset. She was like, I'm a professional. I know what it takes to be a professional. This is not how you do it. This is not how you brand. This is not the war, Michael. We need to come to some sort of treaty. And I was like, oh, you just did. That's the name of the band, the War and Treaty. Because not everything is peaceful all the time, especially in our lives. We constantly, every day we wake up, there's a tug of war within ourselves, period. I mean, every day. The biggest struggle I have on a day-to-day basis is whether or not I'm going to give in to a Big Mac or broccoli. And Big Macs win all the damn time. So that is the War and Treaty. I'm a war veteran. I'm a wounded warrior. I served our country. I went to Iraq twice, got injuries. Thank you. And my treaty is I vowed to love again, and I vowed to love this woman, and I vowed to join with her and take our love and our healing on the road. And so we are the War and Treaty, and thank you for asking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get one last round of applause
Thank you.